So today I'm going to be doing another kind of card technique. Today's technique is the multicolor baby wipe technique. It's really just called the baby wipe technique. Now I'm first starting off, I am doing kind of like a small craft haul. I got these Lawn Fawn Stitch rectangle dies, which is really exciting to me. I knew that I would be using it on pretty much every single card that I make, and I'm pretty much going to be using them on every single day. Now these three biggest sizes is what I'm really using, and those sizes are the ones that I'm going to be using very often. These a little bit smaller ones, not as much, but I'm still going to get a lot of use out of them. I'm going to be using them for different cards and everything else. Now the first thing that I have is I stored them on this Avery Elle. This is a Stamp and Die storage pocket. Now as you see there, I put some magnetic tape down so that it can hold my dies into place. So I went ahead and put one thing across the middle, and then I had some little pieces too to hold them securely onto that cardstock. Now from Christy Gets Crafty, she's a very good crafter. You should go over to her YouTube page, but she stores her dies usually on some, you can buy magnetic vent covers from Home Depot. That's what I really want to get. I just went to Home Depot a few different times and they've always had it out of stock, so I'm kind of waiting for that to come in, but until it does, I'm just improvising using the magnetic tape, and it seems to work here. I just have, you see there's a couple strips, or there's 3 strips of magnetic tape that I have there. Now, the one other thing that I'm gonna maybe ask you guys out there is that to get all the sizes, you needed to get the Lawn Fawn, the large stitch rectangle dies, and the small stitch rectangle dies. That's the only way you can get all the 8 sizes of the stitch rectangle dies that I wanted. So because of that reason, I want to ask you that, would you store them together or separate? Right at this moment, I think I'm going to store these 3 together definitely, because these 3 are the ones that I'm going to be using all the time. I think I'm actually going to hold them with my 6x6 paper pad just so that I'm able to grab them really easily and not have to search through and find them. Which these other ones, the little bit harder part about using these other dies or having them all nested into each other, the small and the large, is that because they're so close in size, they nest really perfectly, and as you see there, it's hard to get the size smaller down out of the packaging without you having to lift out the bigger ones. So that's the only problem that I'm having. It does work for now, but later on I'm gonna have to try to find some kind of solution to that. Now I can just separate them and do the 4 different sizes, but I think for now these 5 smaller sizes I'm going to keep together, and then the 3 larger sizes I'm going to keep together as well, and then we'll see how that works. Also, these 3 bigger sizes, they're nested a little bit, they're not as close, so because of that reason as well, the dies don't touch, and it's really easy to take all of those 3 dies out easily. Now, I'm just going to be putting that onto the side and get onto the card today. I'm going to be using all 3 sizes today. This is the 3rd largest die. I'm taking it, and I took it and cut some white cardstock out of it. Now also some other ideas for the smaller ones. You're able to make different size tags. All you have to do is punch holes into them. You can make all different kinds of things with those, from the word sentiment strips to everything. So it's really good to have these stitching dies. I highly recommend them, and I think that every crafter, if they're going to start off with die cutting, they should get these rectangle stitch dies from Lawn Fawn, because these are really must have, and I'm really going to be using them on pretty much every single card. Now, just using these 3 biggest sizes, I just wanted to show you, this is a stamp from Lily of the Valley, and I just stamped it onto the 3rd biggest frame, and then I went ahead and I also used the largest one and cut that whole pattern paper to fit directly onto my white card base. And as you see there, that's just using the large stitch rectangling die, so I'm showing you that if you just got the large, you can live with it. Now I definitely wanted that middle size from the small stitch rectangling dies, so I went ahead and I made this card, and as you see, there's the 3 layers. There's a white layer, and then the green, and then the white again, and then this makes a really nice and simple stitched card, as well as that same Lily of the Valley bear stamp, and it's really, to me, the nice stitching makes the card look so much better. And then as you see here, this is another Lily of the Valley stamp. I went ahead and took only the second and the third size, and I made a card out of the second bigger size. I made that card, and then this is a little bit smaller card, and something nice to be able to make smaller and different sized cards and making it so easy because you have the dies. I also, as you see that panel there that I have the Feel Better, I did make sure that I put the stitching on the side. That's something that when you have these stitching dies and you have something that's gonna touch the edge, you definitely want to use the stitching and make that edge stitched as well, and it makes the whole piece coordinate a lot better. So sorry for all the delay on making the card. I just want to show and share my excitement on how getting those large and small stitch rectangling dies from Lawn Fawn, and I just want to show you what I made with those. Now as you see here, this is some CVS Ultra Soft baby wipes. Now I was thinking that I was going to go ahead and use this for my baby wipe technique, but I only used this baby wipe a couple times. I didn't realize that there is little bumps on the baby wipe, so you can use this for the baby wipe technique, but I think it's a little bit better if you have a smoother one. So I went ahead and got my other CVS. For most of my card projects, I use the CVS Basic baby wipes. It comes in this big jar. It comes with like 140 baby wipes, and it's only for $2, so it's very inexpensive, and I usually use this most of the time. I just had got that smaller pack, and I thought they were a little bit better quality, but actually this smooth one, it actually works a little bit better. So this is actually the first time I'm ever getting to do this technique. I've done many techniques before, but this one I haven't done. I just thought that it used to waste some of your reinkers, but I decided that I'm going to try it this time and see how it works for the first time. So what you're going to need to start off with is some kind of dye-based reinker. I have my Memento reinkers as well as my Distress reinkers, and right here this is the Dandelion reinker from Memento. It's just a nice bright yellow. I also have the Bahama Blue reinker, and I'm just making these dots all over my panel here, or all over my baby wipe, sorry. And also I'm just going to go ahead and you're just going to want to spread the color out. Make sure that it's nice in different areas. Now also you want all the colors to you want it to touch with this technique. It's the best if all the colors touch, but you also don't want them to bleed into each other too much in that they're gonna make a dark or a kind of a muddy color. That's what you don't want. So this is the Shabby Shutters. I used the Worn lipstick, that nice pink before, and I'm just again making sure that all my colors overlap, but at the same time not mesh together too much. And then just to give a little bit more darkness, this is first Dandelion. I'm filling in all the entire area to make sure that the whole pad has this nice bright vibrant colors. Now to give a neutral into this, I think that giving a neutral into this is something that's very important. You can use like the London Fog, which is a gray, but this happens to be the Rich Cocoa. I thought that the brown would match nicely and give a nice neutral tone to this. You can use any colors. You could even use a black or brown or gray, I think would be really nice. So I have this stamp set here. It's the Get Crafty from Technique Tuesday. It's a really nice stamp set. I'm going ahead and this is the glue stamp, and as well as I'm taking the scissor stamp, and as you see there, you're gonna just want to just press your stamp up onto the baby wipe just like it's a regular ink pad, and you can see that amazing vibrant color. This was again the first time me ever doing it, so I thought that it wouldn't be so bright because the baby wipe has already like a wetness or a dampness to it, so I thought that it would detract from the color, but this really shows up and it brings out those true colors of the actual inks. And as you see there, that dark brown, it really ties in a nice neutral color to it. So I'm just between every time you're going to want to stamp it, you're going to want to clean it. Not every time. If you get most of the ink off, it's okay, but I think that it is good to clean it in between, just because of the reason that if you say if you had a yellow and you move your ink pad, because you're going to move your stamp around on your baby wipe every time you do it, so it's going to be in a different position so you get different colors. But because of that reason, your colors will maybe touch each other, so that's why you want to wipe it off a little bit. And I'm just taking these two stamps. These are the glue and then the scissor stamp from this Get Crafty stamp set. And this really, it just ended up being such a really nice, it worked really well, just like a regular ink pad would. And you can see that really nice rainbow color that you wouldn't be able to get with any ink pad that you have. So it's something that I think everybody should try. I'm just going to go ahead and move it onto the side, and as you see there, it has so much color still left on it, so you definitely can make a lot more cards. And in the end, I'll be showing another card that I also made with this stamp. Now also, I'm going to go ahead and I'm taking my VersaFine Onyx Black ink pad. That seems to be the darkest, most rich black ink pad that I ever had. It's a nice oil-based, kind of pigment ink-based ink pad, so it's really nice and vibrant and really black, and on any color cardstock it'll stand out a lot, really strong. So I'm just gonna, I stamped that, Keep Calm and Get Crafty. It's for some of my crafting friends that are gonna come over tomorrow. And also, I'm just gonna go ahead and stamp a couple more things just because I got some little smudges and little inkies where I didn't want them. And all you have to do is stamp more, and nobody will even see that it was there, and nobody would have known that you made a mistake. And then after this, I'm just gonna go ahead and get onto the rest of the card. And then here I went ahead and die cut with my Stitch rectangle dies, the biggest one and then the second biggest one. I went ahead and die cut already the papers. It's from the Hey Girl Basic Gray 6x6 paper pad. It has 36 papers and it's a really nice paper pad. I have this as well as the Hey You, and I use them together, and they have some really nice patterns in there. So I just took this yellow polka dot as well as that brown tone-on-tone chevron, and I went ahead and die cut it. I'm just going to go ahead and adhere them onto the card. And now I got them all adhered onto the card with some foam adhesive from EK Success. It's just some thinner foam adhesive. And it just really brought out, you want to do a dark and then a light, and it really brought out those colors and made sure that that focal panel really stood out. Also, I went ahead and on the inside of the card, I went ahead and stamped the inside with that same ink pad. And also, while the ink pad, I still had a lot of ink on it, I went ahead and made another focal panel that was same, the Keep Calm and Get Crafty, because as you see there, it still has tons of ink and color on it. And as you see, I stamped this panel out, and it seemed to turn out really nice. And then I went ahead over here, and I'm just taking that extra ink that's still on the baby wipe and swiping it onto this white panel here. And what this is going to do is it's just going to make my own custom colored background. And as you see there, it's fully colored. I just went ahead and used that same ink pad all over the entire card, the top of it, and I went ahead and actually die cut the card using the second biggest die. I went ahead and die cut a white card base, and then adhered that white colored panel onto the top of the card, as well as I have that my stamped panel on that piece as well. Also, I went ahead and took some Studio G glitter glue on the side and just smeared it on, and that gives a really nice glittery look as well. And here's my two finished cards. So thanks for watching, and if you want to see any of my other card projects and other videos and other things, please visit my blog at mikescrafts.blogspot.com. It'll be in the description bar below. Also, I want to talk to you guys about, please leave your comments below. I want to ask you all the question of what's your guys' favorite colors. I want to ask you if you had favorite color combinations and favorite colors, and that'll help me so that in the future I can make cards that will be appealing to all of you guys out there, as well as to some of my customers and friends. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe, please leave your comments below, and have a great day. Bye.